Well, I think we need to get this show on the road. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to NAIT's Alumni Lifelong Learning event, Beyond the Journeyperson Certificate. Now what? This is going to be a presentation by Nicole Mahoney. As is our tradition at NAIT, we honor and acknowledge that the land on which we learn, work, and live is Treaty 6 territory. We seek to learn from history and the lessons that have come before us, and to draw on the wisdom of the first peoples in Canada. Only through learning can we move forward in truth and reconciliation and to a better future together. My name is Don Boomer, and I'm a proud NAIT alumnus and a member of NAIT's Alumni Association Advisory Committee. Today, I'm happy to serve as your host. Okay, before we get started, there are a few housekeeping items. First off, this presentation will be recorded, and upon entry, your microphone was automatically muted. However, we encourage you to turn on your video so we can see you and notice if you wave your hand or whatever. Maybe you've got cute cat pictures in the background. I don't know. Please use the chat feature or raise your hand. Questions will be addressed throughout the presentation. And as NAIT alumni, you are automatically members of the NAIT Alumni Association. The Alumni Association has benefits like today's event and other events. Discounts and services. Today's event is sponsored by our affinity program partner, TD Insurance Monex. As alumni, you receive preferred rates on TD home and auto insurance. For more information, you can visit the alumni website at nait.ca/alumni. Okay, let's meet our presenter, Nicole Mahoney. Nicole is currently the academic chair for the Ironworker program at NAIT, and she has a passion for lifelong learning. With 20 years of industry experience, she's had the incredible opportunity to work all over Alberta, volunteer with apprenticeship committees across the province, and promote diversity and inclusion in the trades. In the role of academic chair at NAIT, you'll often find her diving into curriculum development and apprenticeship education using what she endearingly refers to as managing chaos. I can testify to that. Before her time at NAIT, she had a blast working various construction jobs across Alberta, where she had a hand in some pretty cool projects like the Anthony Henday North Saskatchewan Bridge, Suncor Tank Farm, and Curl Lake Phase 1. Her passion for trades and apprenticeship education knows no bounds. Okay, when not hustling at work, she lives on a small hobby farm with her partner, finding inspiration in chicken keeping, ecological design, and additive manufacturing that keeps her refreshed and ready to tackle new challenges. If you want to connect with Nicole, drop her a line on LinkedIn. This is to connect about lifelong learning, trades in Alberta, or anything else that sparks your curiosity. So welcome, Nicole.
Thank you, Dawn, and hello, everyone. How is everyone doing tonight?
Awesome.
Let me load my PowerPoint. And we good? Everyone can see the screen? I'd say thumbs up, some sort of emoji in the chat if you can get that to work. Yes. Thank you for taking this hour in your evening to spend with me while I talk about what you can do after you get your ticket. So a little bit about me. Dawn, give me that wonderful introduction. Thank you. I'm an ironworker. So I have my red seal and my blue seal as an ironworker, and they will not combine them together to make a purple seal, as much as I am disappointed about that, but I have a red and a blue. I've been in industry since 2003, so I've been doing this for 20 years, and it is my passion. So I've wanted to be an ironworker since I was 5 years old. Not really the norm for most children at that age, but it was really something that I liked doing. I'm a third generation, so it's my family tree. I always joke is made of steel instead of wood, because there's a few of us in there. And I've been at NAIT since 2014. I loved working at NAIT. It's a wonderful career, and it's my passion is apprenticeship, but we'll get to that in a bit of a minute. So this presentation, a little bit of information about it. All of the links to the material I references and all of the sites that I'm sourcing and quoting is at the end of the PowerPoint. So you'll be able to access that information there. And to the best of my knowledge, some of the processes may have changed, but this is accurate. But the main authority here is the source itself. So some things might be slightly a little bit different. However, the source is the most correct authority. If we're here, we probably know what a journey person is. You know, it's someone who has gone through an apprenticeship and at the end of the day ends up with a ticket, whether that is 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and then do a little bit of field training and a little bit of technical training. Alberta has about 50 designated trades, so there is a wide range of people working in various industries in Alberta. And in Alberta, they do have restrictions on who can perform them. And it is important to note that not all trades have Red Seal tickets, but we'll cover that a little bit later on. And I always like to touch on this. Apprentices don't come from nowhere. They are made, and they are made with mentoring. And that is a very big key component in this whole system. If you're here, you know that. I always say think with the journey people that you work with and think of the experiences you've had in the mentoring. I always say pick your favorite journeyman person and your least favorite, and you've learned something from both of them. So it's always a learning experience no matter where you are. And the whole point of that is skill transfer. That's it. When you get your ticket, you're going to be responsible for apprentices and you are going to make more journey people. That is, the system must feed itself. And career advancement. We go through the apprenticeship to gain those practical skills to eventually make the big bucks, right? That's why we do this. And it's maintaining industry standards and ethics in our field. These are, the key components of mentoring. So this is where we get a little bit interactive. What trades do we have in the house? If we have any, you might not. Hang on, I have to turn off my furnace. Or if anyone wants to share what trade they are. Now, this is where I'm trying to get the chat to work. Who do we have? Communications, okay. Well, thank you for sharing. Now, this is the whole meat of this presentation. I have a ticket. Now what? What do I do? Well, this is just the beginning. You've just started to learn. It takes about 10,000 hours to master something, so the learning doesn't stop. I thought as an apprentice, I get my ticket and I'm done. And yeah, no, that is definitely not the case. That did not happen. I have been learning nonstop and I do thoroughly enjoy it. And I identify 4 paths. These are places where you can look, places where you can go to grow on your, your journey after you get your ticket, or if you're close to getting your ticket. And you can do this at any point within. So we have the educational path. You can get your ticket and then go back to university and take various different courses. I'll go over each of these in detail as we move into the presentation. The ownership path, which can also be called the entrepreneur path. Specialization, it is similar to education, but I break that down being more tiny micro courses, sometimes micro credentials, smaller pieces of information. And then the passion path. This is ultimately what led me to NAIT to work here, is the passion path. And I will go over all of these in more detail as we continue on. So you get your ticket, why bother? What's the point? I have this, I can make money, I can make good money doing this with my trade. What's the point? Why would I want to upgrade anything? Well, you were hired based on your past skills, but employers rely on you to learn and grow and develop. If you stay the same person for 20 years, yes, you will make good money, but you can fulfill passion, lifelong dreams, and fulfillment just by, growing. It helps you perform better in your current role, and it can help you navigate work situations, colleagues, work situations, politics, that kind of stuff. It really is helpful. And the enhanced expertise, well, it can make you an authority in your field. I started as the junior chair, like the youngest chair in my department, and now I'm one of the senior chairs, which, sometimes surprises me when I look back because I've been in this role about 8 years. And it creates a demand for you. And if you're in demand, you're going to get paid and you're going to be able to do what you want to do. Like at keep chickens could be a good hobby, rewarding. They are tiny raptors. So if you like dinosaurs, you'll probably like chickens. And again, innovation and adaptation, it's going to lead to new technologies, new processes, new solutions. It's just going to make the world a better place. And this is one of my favorite quotes. It always really resonates me about beginner mindset. In the beginner's mind, there's always possibilities. Think about your first job when you were a first year and everything you thought of. And then sometimes in an expert mindset, there's few. So basically, let's just keep an open mind to opportunities. I was that shy, quiet apprentice that sat in the front of the classroom and never said boo to anybody. And now I'm the academic chair of the program that I graduated from, which is amazing. I tell my apprentices this every day. You could be me, even the shy one in the corner. So you never know. Now, back to my path theory. We have just a few options, and this is not an exclusive list. There could be more options, and we'll touch on them a bit. But education today, I'm going to talk about the seals, the red, blue, and gold. You get credit for your ticket from the government of Alberta and at NAIT. NAIT has a really groundbreaking program. And you can also head back to post-secondary. I had what I called my quarter Journeyperson life crisis, and I quit and went back to university for a year and took my Bachelor of Applied Communications and Professional Writing. Loved it. It's kind of the reset that I needed. Ended up at an archaeological dig in Italy. Never really saw that happening. And then came back to work, refreshed, rejuvenated, had an awesome time, ended up becoming foreman, general foreman, and it was great. Eventually ended up at NAIT. Finished the degree online, working 86 hours a week. That I do not recommend, but I never had that planned. The entrepreneur path, which I also call the ownership path, so you can be your own boss, open your own company, set your own hours. Contracting, consulting, that kind of stuff. You can be very specialized in your field. I know there is an individual that is really interested in rock climbing and welding. So what he does is shoot in anchor bolts like 500 feet in the air and hoists the welder up on a bosun's chair so they can weld in very weird tight spots. And this has reduced the company's costs because they don't have to pay $50,000 to get scaffolding installed, right? That's adaptation and innovation right there. And he has a very interesting consulting company in the process. Passion path, this is committees, volunteering, mentoring, associations like the NAIT Alumni Association, ones that make your heart happy and fill your cup. For me right now, I work with a lot of apprenticeship committees. I'm doing some beta tests with the new Trade Act, which I'll talk about a tiny bit. And yes, that fills my cup. So I'll be asking a lot of questions tonight of you, and I don't expect you to give me answers, but write them down. What is your passion? What do you like doing? And specialization. It is a lot like education, but I call these professional development courses. As an ironworker, I might take high angle rescue. That could be something I could do. I could get into quality control, quality assurance stuff, and like the changing codes, regulations. I know electricians have a master electrician course they can take. I believe pipe fitters have another master certification they can do. So there might be something like that in your field. This isn't going to be a 10-step process on how to do this for you, that you follow steps 1 through 10 and boom, something happens. But it's going to be a good presentation on how you can find these things in your field. So let's talk about education stuff. The seals, the red, the gold, and the blue. Red seal, we might have heard of a lot. It is trade competency. You write your Alberta Provincial Journeyperson's exam at the end of your year. Then you write another exam and you get a red seal. You may or may not be successful, but the good news is you can write that again. Like, you learn a lot from failure, so keep going. I failed a lot in my career and I've learned a lot from it. And everyone's always so afraid of that, but keep going. The blue seal is business competencies. You can get this a few different ways. My journey to the blue seal was a little bit different, so I'll share that with you. And then the gold seal is more of a certification program. I'm not familiar. I do not have a gold seal. I know the gist of it, but I have not experienced that seal myself. Questions so far? Okay. So there are 50 plus seals in Alberta. It is an interprovincial standard, but not all trades have red seals. And this is dictated by the Skilled Trades and Apprenticeship Education Act, which I'll talk about a little bit. Now, you write an exam after you write your Alberta Provincial Journeyman exam, and you get that. If you're unsuccessful, I would say write again. My students are usually like, I failed. It's okay. Like, you can pay the fee and write the test again. You can do that 11 times if you want. And the AIT website has more information. Also, at the end of my PowerPoint presentation is the Red Seal Canada website. It is a lovely resource. You may or may not have your Red Seal now, but it is possible to get. Blue Seal is a business competency one, and you need 150 hours of study in an approved program from AIT, which is the Apprenticeship and Industry Training in Alberta. There are 18 subject areas, so you can find something that interests you, but they need to be from a recognized training provider, and you do need your Journeyperson Certificate to get that. But you can start this in your second year of your apprenticeship. You can start this in your first. You can start this 20 years after you've got your ticket. There's no timeline. And NAIT offers a bunch of courses on this. I know all the specifics about NAIT because I work here, so a lot of my information, when relevant, I will always source NAIT. And it can be any combination of those courses. And you can take this with other institutes. If you remember back when I took my Bachelor of Applied Communications and Professional Writing, I know it's really long, and that's why I took it. It was the most different thing from ironworking at the time. Well, I found out networking, it's another handy thing to do afterwards, even during your apprenticeship, is I was in a Blue Seal course at NAIT with someone from AIT, and it's called PROW is my program that I took, and we were talking about it. And they said, oh, you already have this certification in communications. You can upload your transcript to AIT, pay the fee, upload your ticket, and then get your Blue Seal. So that was done. You may already have something in these 18 subject areas that could work. So please check with AIT for your specific scenario. And NAIT does offer these two courses. So the Business Fundamental Certificate, and there's two specializations, or the Project Management Certificate. And if you've already taken the Project Management Certificate, then you have your Blue Seal. Or if you plan on taking it anyway, you can get your Blue Seal. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 with the Project Management Certificate. How are we doing so far, everybody? Good? Now, when you apply for your Blue Seal, you just need 150 hours in 18 approved subject areas. It's a wide variety to pique your interest. You need your Journeyperson Certificate. You need an Alberta student number, and if you're here and you're a NAIT alumni, you already have that Alberta student number. And you just submit your application on the My Trade Secrets site and pay the fee. It is relatively simple. It's probably less complex than getting into a WebEx meeting, I would say. Gold Seal, it's a little bit different. It's offered by the Canadian Construction Association. Similar to the Blue Seal in that there's a certain amount of accredited universities and polytechnics and colleges that offer courses. It is a construction management type thing, so they have specific requirements based on management experience and whether or not you're working as a project manager, but you may have got your Blue Seal, may have that project management certificate, may be working somewhere, and then you can apply for your Gold Seal. I have linked a PDF to the Gold Seal information in the back of the PowerPoint that contains all of the information. This is just a brief glimpse into the possibility of. And you do need 5+ years experience to get the Gold Seal. Similar process, 100 credits, how they manage their courses instead of hours, pay the fee, write the exam, and away you go. Now, this course was offered at NAIT and started in 2016. There's two offered. There is a diploma and there is a degree. So depending on your specific situation, you'll have to go and apply in the Alberta student system. You can also meet with someone. So NAIT Open House is October 28th. You'll probably see me there Saturday at the Ironworker booth, but also the trades degree people will be there if you have specific questions for them. And if you pop into the Google machine, trades degree NAIT, it's the first thing that pops up, or you check out Nicole's PowerPoint and it is the last slide. It is a business administration management diploma. So what they do is they give you credit for your Journeyperson ticket into the program. It is a great pathway. It sees our work as Journey people as an educational equivalent, and it works a lot like transfer credit. And then there's trades to degrees. It was the first one in North America in 2016. And it puts you into the third year of the degree program. I took some of these courses. It was a great program. It wasn't my passion, and I did not continue in the program, but I know and work with lots of people who've gone through this program and love it. I think Dawn's gone through the program, if I'm correct. Sorry, throwing you on the bus. No, okay, I was wrong. But yeah, my past department head went through the program, and lots of people at NAIT. It is a great program if your passion lies in that area. And you can take them online, part-time, in the evening, the weekend, during the week. It's very flexible, very, very flexible. I worked 86 hours a week and took it online. Not that program, but online school, it is possible. Just I would recommend you work less than 86 hours in that week. It's a lot. How are we going, or how are we doing so far? I see no questions. Good. So the act changed. Ooh, sorry. Was there a question? Okay. The Apprenticeship Act changed in July of 2022. You may have seen the acronym STAY. And this has made some really cool changes. And it has made some really progressive changes in relation to your Journeyperson ticket. So now you get a trade education credential. If you have completed your ticket and wrote a Journeyperson exam as of January of this year, you get some version of a diploma. So it's either an advanced diploma certificate, a diploma or certificate of achievement, depending on how many hours of training that your trade is. You can find out more information about that on the AIT website, but it is starting to come about, and it's Alberta's credential framework, so it is issued. and it can be eligible for transfer credits. It all depends on where you're applying and what program you're in. And you'll have to check with the program that you're applying for if you're going to a different program at NAIT or McEwen or the U of A. But we do get an educational credit certificate that will be mailed out to you with your Journeyperson ticket after you finish your exams. And other paths, I always say with education, it comes to skill stacking. So I'm an ironworker with a communications degree with an additive manufacturing diploma, which is a fancy word for 3D printing. Subtractive manufacturing is like CNC, so additive is the opposite. But make yourself unique. Yeah, out of the 40 people that applied, I was unique because I had that communications professional writing thing. And enjoy what you're learning. So make sure that it fills your heart or fills your cup up, makes your heart happy. That is the best way to succeed well, I think. And stack those interesting skills one on top of each other. They will make you more employable. And then you get to do some really interesting stuff. That's been my trade experience, which leads us to specialization. This is just making sure that in your trade, you deepen your understanding and expertise in one area. You could be an electrician that specializes in reconfiguring antique houses wiring, just picking something strange. As an ironworker, I was the one that could rig and lift really weird things with the crane. So I got to follow some really big, cool cranes around and pick up some really interesting stuff. Um, that that was a wonderful job that kept me busy for 2 years. Also, I could fit into a 10-inch hole on some job sites, and I would get a lot of really weird bolting jobs because I could fit into the tiny space, 200 feet in the air. Um, that was also a skill set. Yoga classes helped me with those just for balance and flexibility. So it's not your traditional specialization, but it helped me and it worked. Um, and the better you are and the more unique you are, the increase in demand for your services are. So if you always want to be working, it is a great opportunity to make yourself specialized. And again, the innovation and adaptation. There's this wonderful center at NAIT called the PIC Center, and they help industry with research. So one day that might be you creating some new technology in an area. So a few areas to look. This is more of a guide on how to find these things for specialization, especially if you don't know where to look. Take some sort of advanced certification. I took a lot of really interesting and unusual rigging classes on how to pick things. Engineers did a lot of the calculations, but I did a lot of the groundwork stuff. Technology. Wireless power is a thing now because someone said, hey, I have this crazy idea. Can we do this wireless stuff? Niche expertise. You may be a specialist in refinishing antique houses because of some weird wiring system. Teach and train others. You can come to NAIT and do that. NAIT looks for subject matter experts all the time, and it is incredibly rewarding. I've enjoyed literally every minute of it. I've been in NAIT 9 years now, and I'm never going to leave. It's a great, rewarding career. Quality control, though, and quality insurance. There's lots of, in my industry, I know there's lots of people that QC with welding and bolting and just rebar to make sure that it's placed well. That is a process. You could research and develop something really cool. I know some automotive technician instructors were researching the crumpability and metallurgical properties of culverts. Um, that's the science on that just sounds fascinating to me. You could get into project management because your experience in the field you're in you know how things need to be built, the process and the order of operations of a construction project. Specialized maintenance and repair. The person I talked about who developed the anchor bolt technology to hoist people 500 feet in the air to weld really weird spots. That's very specialized. Compliance and regulation. You can look at AIT. They do a lot of that. They send people out to make sure that apprenticeship processes are monitored and people are doing what they're doing within a skill set. And then you can develop a business, become an entrepreneur, open a company. The people that I graduated with, 2 of them own rebar companies and do incredibly well for themselves and love every minute of it. Not options that we thought of when we were just wee third-year apprentices. And then how do you find these? How do you know where to look? Try trade organizations. In my field, there's the Alberta Metal Building Association, so I could contact them, volunteer with them, work with them in those areas. Check out AIT. AIT's website is great. It is a wonderful resource. Or volunteer for the committees for AIT and the apprenticeship boards and positions and that kind of stuff. I will show you how to access those in a bit. Connect with local training institutes like NAIT. Attend trade shows and workshops. Check out online resources or even local employment centers. See who's being hired with what qualifications. And then just research job postings. You can go on and say if they're looking for a QC with a welding background, then you know that's a possibility. A big career for ironworkers, and I know my niche very specifically is steel detailing. They need a lot of people to draw up the drawings and make sure that the steel pieces sort of work out. There's very little interference when it comes to bolting. That's a big thing. If ironworkers do one job, it's we put bolts in holes. Questions so far? We good? And then the entrepreneur. This one is a very big, wide topic. There is a center at NAIT, the Mahoney Center. I will get to that. I have been to a few presentations, and one person invented this. The best way that I can describe it is it's a battery generator pack that is the size of a computer tower, and you can take that to remote locations and then work. It is amazing because I have been in many places where you have to have gas or diesel and a welding machine and a source of power, and you're in a hole trying to grind or weld or do something, and you have a million extension cords. And this is just one tiny power pack that lasts a day. And what she is doing is she's selling them to the Canadian military for them to use in Ukraine. Right? It's unbelievable the way the technology works. You can open a company, you can be a consultant. And don't forget, if you do this, to register your company with the NAIT Alumni Association. If you pop it into the Google machine, check it out. There's lots of NAIT businesses. Over on my campus, I found a pizza place, the High Dough, that is run by NAIT alumni from the association, and it was literally 100 feet from my office. And it is great pizza. So give it a try. And the Mahoney Center, they have many presentations, much like the NAIT Alumni Association, on innovation, small businesses, where to start, that kind of stuff. It is a good resource, or just even inspirational stories from people who have been there and done that. And then this leads me to passion. This is probably the one that took me the longest to learn, but now that I found it, this is my niche. This is my favorite spot because I love working with apprentices and apprenticeship, and this is like I'll scream from the top of the building at NAIT how awesome it is. Check for opportunities within your trades. So there's committees, boards, organizations, volunteer. So your employer may support the food bank and they volunteer there every Christmas. That is an excellent way to find your passion. Um, Check out organizations that support and promote trades like Women Building Futures. Careers Next Gen is a great one. They're always looking for journey persons to go to high schools and talk or run a booth where you try and build something. So electricians, they make extension cords. Those are really popular. That is an option. Check out career fairs, try a trades. My favorite one though, that I go to every year and you will find me there every time is Skills Alberta. It is great. They need people to just volunteer at Skills. I volunteer and run a booth through the workplace safety at Skills, because I have a virtual reality beam. If you ever swing by, say hi. Skills is great. I participated in Skills in high school in fashion and design, and now I'm back as an ironworker, and I always run into my old high school teacher. And it's a great competition. And if you've never heard of Skills Alberta or Skills Canada, go. It's probably the first week in May in 2024. And they always need people just to kind of help run the booths and the competitions. They look for, there's a welding competition. So you may be a welder and you could be a judge or help out with the booth there. There's some amazingly talented individuals that compete in Skills. And if you've never heard of it or never gone, you are missing out. Or volunteer at a local charity. So these ones are from outside your trade. And I ended up speaking at a Women's Day high tea, and that is how I'm here today giving this presentation. You may not know how those things link together, but they do. You never know who you'll run into. Wonderful experiences. I volunteer all the time. You can volunteer with the Alumni Association, right? Dawn's doing that right now. Um, Or you can volunteer with the program that you graduated for. So I have open house October 28th, and I have a student coming along to help me. She graduated in January. So there's always these options. NAIT's running Jill of All Trades. It's another program. You can volunteer for that. And the GET, I forget the acronym on GET, GETT, they always look for people to volunteer for those things too. They are great opportunities to really promote trades and apprenticeship and connect with people to just explain what you do. Now, finding your passion may not be a direct path. It may not be easy, or you may not know even where to start. Self-reflect. What do you like doing? Um, I found out after I got my ticket, I really liked working with an apprentice and helping someone grow and learn and understand. Because much like everyone here, I've had varying degrees of mentors in my apprenticeship. So that might be your passion right there. And I tell this to my students. I'm like, think of the worst journey person you work for and think of the best. And I still talk to the people that mentored me from my very first job. There's 4 or 5 of them. They've all retired now. They're in their 70s, but they still text me randomly, and I send them chicken videos because they're just very entertained by the chickens that I have. Explore new activities. Try something new and different that you would never have thought of. It can lead you to some amazing places. Volunteer. Pick something you enjoy doing and volunteer, or something that's new and exciting. Experiment, set a goal. You might find that you read 37 books in a year and you bump into somebody at Chapters who works at NAIT who's looking for a volunteer for a program. Life is very peculiar in the way that it just knits people together in those situations. Or find a role model and get inspiration from them. I reached out to one of the Journeypersons that I worked with. I ran into him at a coffee shop, and he was feeding the homeless in a park downtown on Labor Day weekend. And I rolled into the barbecue to help people and ended up handing out bags of chips. And it was great. Then I found employment that way from somebody looking to hire somebody. It's weird how the process sort of works. And then look back at your childhood interests. Um, I liked building things and climbing things. So that's kind of 2 prerequisites of being an ironworker. The third is bolting things. Um, and it just sort of worked out. I make these little projects now with high school children, high school teenagers. I guess they're teenagers, aren't they? And we make a little ornamental coat rack. Actually, do I have one here? As I look around. Um, yeah, it's a little metal coat rack, and we bend the scroll, we screw this thing on, and they love it. Um, it's a great time, and you may want to share that passion with somebody. Or join a trade committee or association. Um, You can type in your trade and association and the word Alberta into Google, and many things will pop up. They always look for people. Go to career fairs, try a trades. You can volunteer for committees. And then there is the Trade and Apprenticeship Committee of Expertise. That's called TACE. That's run by AIT. And you can share your trade experience with AIT on things like curriculum development and, ooh, the list is endless. And it may sound like, oh, I don't know anything about curriculum. I am just to insert your trade here. Yes, you do. You're a subject matter expert now. You've got this. You know what you're talking about. You can join these things. And then I would say volunteer with your trade. Reach out to the program you graduated for. Ask them if they need help with something. Um, Open house is a very big event, and it is run a lot by students and staff. There are student volunteers there. It's a great opportunity. Plus, you get free lunch, and who doesn't like free food? Reach out to your past instructors, right? You may have made a connection with that one instructor in your program, and they should be able to help you if that's what you want to do. Network in your field, so reach out and talk to people. Reach out and talk to people. At conferences are great. There's the Alberta, there's a Canadian Apprenticeship Forum, and they deal a lot with apprenticeship. You can go to the conference and make some connections. And I know I say volunteer work a lot, but there's a lot of people that volunteer, and it's a great way to network. And that is it for me. Sorry I talked at you for 45 minutes. I hope you enjoyed it. Does anyone have any questions?
Nicole, can I just add a couple of things from my own experience?
Yes, please do.
Um, Don Boomer again, um, journeyman plumber, journeyman gas fitter, journeyman steam fitter, pipe fitter. And I was thinking when you were talking about specializing, when I started working at NAIT a long time ago, we had people that specialized in hydronic heating, sprinkler systems, rotor-rooter people, people that do wells for acreages and farms. You know, you can really find a lot of things to specialize in your trade. And also as you go on, like I started out as a plumb dumber. And when I retired 3 years ago, I was an associate dean at NAIT. So I had been through instructor, assistant program head, chair, associate dean, and Blue Seal, yes. I have a degree in education. And the only reason I have the degree in education is I got sick partway through my apprenticeship and I had to have something to do. So I went to university. Um, but the current dean of the School of Trades right now doesn't even have a degree. He's just a plumber. And the previous dean was a sheet metal worker. So, you know, that's one area you can go to. If you've got a trade that has inspections, there's the, oh goodness, I can't think of what they're called. Safety Codes Council, that deals with inspections and putting together codes and things like that for the province. And like Nicole said, Skills Canada, Skills Alberta is something that everyone should experience. And if you care to volunteer, not only is it very rewarding, but I ended up on the National Technical Committee and the Provincial Technical Committee for plumbing, and I got to go all over Canada helping out, setting up the program or the competition, sometimes judging, things like that. There is so much you can do. And then I believe Nicole has nailed it on everything she's spoken about so far. So thanks, Nicole. I really appreciate you sharing this with us.
Well,
That's
and thank you for adding things. No, it's great. It's yeah, I used to work with Don, and right, there's a mentor networking connection right there, and he added a few things. So I tell my apprentices in class, um, like, there's X number of us in here, and one person doesn't know everything, but as a group, we do. So that's why I say, like, reach out to someone in your field and just ask those questions. It all starts with the beginner mindset, be curious, ask those questions, um, and join those associations. It leads you to some very rewarding and interesting places. Here are the links to my PowerPoint. There are many sources here, and many different paths and options. Out of all of us in this room, we all got to where we are here today just by a different route. And there's a lot to be learned just from sharing that with people and learning from that. So there are two slides, and then this is how you can contact me at NAIT. LinkedIn works too. Um, and I always say, drop me a line. I may be an ironworker, and that may not be your trade, but there are options out there. Okay? We grow the best by sharing the knowledge. I'm going to hit the stop sharing. So anyone brave enough? Oh, parts and OPT. Um, I know that acronym. Now I have to go to the Google machine.
Outdoor power equipment technician.
That's it.
So sleds, quads, lawnmowers.
Yep.
Specialized
Lots of,
lawn and garden for golf and turf, and then some of the like man lifts, smaller man lifts.
yep.
Did you take
Those
your
are,
training at Patricia campus?
Actually, I took it before it was NAIT.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
and ironically, as Nicole alluded to on the open house back in 2008, I went to it to look at some other things and ended up meeting up with Diane Varden, who looked after Con Ed courses and got hooked up with, I'm going to say, teaching some of the Con Ed small engine courses out of that,
Bonus.
which then took
I
me up to, I'm going to say, close to a Nuvik.
Yes, see? And that one open house made that one opportunity, and then you ended up way up north. Hopefully it was in the summer.
Yeah, it was, but I'm going to say I'm going to say a little bit naive and whatever, just thinking it was like just above Alberta, and it's like pretty much at the Arctic Ocean, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, but anyway, it was a good experience.
Thank you for sharing. Anyone else have anything to add? I am not the expert in this, but I do have a few years experience. As much as I don't like admitting that some days. It makes me I blinked and now I'm here. They always say there's supposed to be a 30-second pause in online because it's usually 5 seconds face to face. And if in the silence after like 20 seconds, my skin just starts to crawl. Well, if that is it, we do have a few more minutes. I'd like to thank everybody for coming and sharing their hour in their evening with us. Hopefully you learned something new.
So do you want me to do my part now, Nicole, or do you have more?
Nope, that's it for me.
Okay. Then I'll. So Thanks, Nicole. Really appreciate it. I've actually learned a certain amount. And obviously from my picture, you can tell that I've been at this a heck of a lot longer than you have. But you've shared a wealth of information with us to explore options and courses that can be taken to build upon as a skilled tradesperson. And that's awesome. So for all of you out there, our next scheduled events are Public Speaking and Networking 101. That's on November 18th. And we've got a holiday cooking demo on December 4th. The registration for that one opens on October 30th. Want to say a special thank you to our affinity program partner, TD Insurance, Malonex, a proud sponsor of tonight's event. And so to continue improving our programs, we will be sending out a short survey after the event. We appreciate your feedback. And if there's something that you would like to learn more about or an event you would like to see us host, please let us know. So thank you for attending, and we hope to see you at future NAIT alumni events. Have a great evening, everyone, and thanks again. Thank you, Nicole, again.
You're welcome. Thanks for having